Alright, let me show you my childhood home at my grandparents in Caracas, Venezuela. And this is the drive up the house. And keep in mind that I'll relate and probably translate from what it looks now and what it used to look then. And if you can get a visual, you may get a better understanding as to why I think this house is so phenomenal. So many memories. But you drive up this road and this is the kind of vegetation you see here. You can see the vines. Totally jungle-like. This is a gigantic mango tree, and it's full of mangoes. I'll get closer to it. And as you come up the driveway, there's the dog. It's what we used to call the red courtyard, which unfortunately through the years, I mean decades actually, this house is I believe like 62 years old. A lot of things have gone in this array, so to speak. And we come up this driveway, and this used to be and still is the parking area. There are cars, and that roof did not exist, and they just put it there, almost makeshift, to keep the cars under a roof, obviously. There's a little grass area, and we just came up that driveway. This is the red courtyard, and again, imagine this in a time when it was pristine. There was furniture here, almost a place where you can put an umbrella and sit back and relax. And that used to be a closet. It had doors, and they had gas tanks for the kitchen. And all this was built by my grandfather. And that bed of flowers, which is all that dirt you see there, used to be covered with flowers and parchita, passion fruit. It's called parchita here. Vines all over the place. Same as for this. It used to be covered with all kinds of fruits. There's a mango laying down. As you can see, it's like you can live here without never stepping foot in a supermarket. The amount of fruits that grow here. Those stairs led up to that hill that goes all the way up there, and it's now covered like a jungle, but they used to be like terraces, and we used to run from one to the next to the next. And as you can see, the vines everywhere. As kids, we used to tie them up like Tarzan and swing from these vines. And that's the maid's quarter. It's got a bathroom. That used to be the laundry room, which has a closed area and an open area to dry clothing back in the days before dryers. And you find a lot of leftovers still here from my childhood, like this metal rack. And my aunt used to have some sculptures from there. She's an artist. Where that gigantic palm tree stands, there used to be a big lemon tree, which obviously has faded away. We go up the stairs, and as you can see, this used to be all brick and beautiful, and now it's just covering mold and the rain and the decades again of just neglect. Not because I don't love this home, but it's just my grandfather's now 92, and my aunt lives here, and she's a busy lady, and it's a lot of property to take care of. And that terrace was not green, had a black floor, and it leads to that area there, which I'll get to it. That used to be another playground for us with vines like Tarzan, as you can see. It goes all the way as deep as your eyes can see. And as you can see the vegetation, how beautiful. Imagine all this manicure as it used to be when we were kids. There was a gardener in place who took care of this property with my grandfather 24/7. The amount of trees and amount of birds and this circular pit was not here. It's obviously to burn leaves, not very successfully. The flowers, the animals, the spiders. Look at those red flowers growing up through those trees. And you used to be able to go up this way. There was a walkway that led to another terrace way back there with more chairs and just areas to sit back and relax and enjoy this beautiful place. And that's just pretty much the way it goes. It's unfortunate. I wish I could fix this place back to its old glory, so to speak. And it goes on all the way down there. Up here you have all the bedrooms, a TV room, a studio. Amazingly enough, I recognize this structure here. That used to be a sculpture that was downstairs in the yard. My aunt got into welding at one point. I come from a very artistic background. My aunt is an artist who's nominated and have many awards from Europe and here in Venezuela. It's quite remarkable, same as my granduncle, my grandfather's brother. Most murals and paintings in many areas here in Venezuela were designed by him, and again, it's a world-renowned artist. You can Google him. Carlos González Bogen, and it's quite remarkable. I'm pretty artistic myself, so I understand where I got that from. Again, more mangoes laying on the ground. That one's been eaten by birds or something. And here we are in this now green terrace, and the sun's starting to peek out of this rainy day. And again, this floor was pristine, and that's a door that leads to the TV room upstairs. That glass, you can see below to the living room, and it brings, of course, a lot of light to the house, amazingly enough. Cannot see because of the reflection. And this is the roof, and I still have a signature that I made up there. Let's see if I can zoom in. No, I can't, unfortunately, but anyways, you can still see the E for my nickname, and it says 784, so whatever month, the 7th day of 1984, I wrote that in there. So quite amazingly, it's been there for a mighty long time already. And in this blue beam of metal, we had my uncle had signed his name. I think it said 1960 something, and then my brother signed his 1970 something, and I also write mine on the 1970 whatever. And they were there for literally decades, and unfortunately they painted the house and erased our names. You can still see the P for my name. If you zoom in close enough, that's the letter P for Peque, and it had the dates on it. And this is the roof of the original house, and you can see the different reds when my grandfather built his home out of the studio, what once was a studio, like an art studio. You can hear, well, you cannot hear I guess on this camera, but way in the distance there's a beautiful waterfall. You can no longer be visible because the trees have overgrown. And this is just looking below from this place, and that's the main entrance, which was only the left side of the red brick, and this other side used to be grass. They covered it. There's a lot of patches here and there, again, just because during the 80s and 90s the economy here collapsed, and the pension from my grandfather became almost nothing because of inflation, and they can only fix so much at a time, so they prioritize. And that's the laundry room with a bar where the lines used to go to hang your clothing and dry. And through that opening, that square has windows that are slightly open to allow air and light into the kitchen below. And let's go downstairs and see what else I can show you guys. Come walk with me. This rusted table, I wish so much I could take with me. That table is the frame, or what's left of that frame right there, was my grandmother's table to play poker with her lady friends. They would get together every day up here and or down below and play poker. They finally put some gutters because this house never had gutters, and the foundation was starting to give in, slide off, so they had to do some drainage problem here to correct it. A lot of memories, a lot of memories. There's no other place that I find as home as I do here, since my childhood home in Valencia, which is 2 hours from here, is been sold many years ago. And this is basically the only place that I can come to where I can go in and out and make myself at home and have a lot of memories from. Here's the faithful friend, the dog, just follow me around. My feet are soaking wet now, but yeah, this is my grandfather's home, and I spent a lot of time here as a kid. And now we're gonna go and take a little tour inside. And another amazing piece of memory from my childhood here. That metal structure with these amazing flowers here. As you can see, check out these flowers just dangling from that vine right there. And if you believe it or not, these flowers at nighttime, they open up. And they open up so quickly that as they open, they crack. They make a crackling noise. You can come here at nighttime. You cannot have any light because they won't open. But you can stand here and see them, and you'll hear the crackling noise. And again, this metal structure is probably the only one left that I know of here. And there were many of them that would get stacked on top of each other for storage. And we would take them out and lay them on this lawn here with these wooden tables on top. And then they put a cloth on the tables, and they would get huge canopies, and many parties were held here. You talk about 60, 70 people, family members and friends used to come here to make holiday parties, whether it was New Year's Eve or Christmas or someone's birthday. I had many piñatas broken up here, right here in the center, dangling from a tree that used to stand right there. And they used to pull the string to make the piñata up and down, and I had many birthday parties right here. My brother and sister as well. That's when we were upstairs talking about the names and the writing on that beam, and that's the main entrance and the kitchen window. And just to get you some bearings, that's the driveway up here again. And let's go in and check it out with daylight. This is a terrace, just where you can sit down, and almost like a front porch of the house. This, as far as I know, are the last two remaining lights, original from this house. They have stars carved into the metal, little stars. And when the light used to come on, these little lights used to send little lights all along this ceiling. Same with that one. There's only two left out of many. That wall was not there as a kid. This floor used to go continuing on all the way to the yard, but again, my grandfather built a smaller house to move in once all the kids grew and left the home. And here to our left, there's a terrace, and this terrace is where breakfast was held for the adults. I guess I grew up a little spoiled in many ways. They used to sit there, mom, dad, grandma, and grandpa. And through that glass door was opened at least to the dining room, what was the dining room at one point, and to the kitchen. And almost pathetic. They used to ring a bell, and the maids used to come with a rolling cart with all kinds of goods for breakfast, and the adults would eat. I don't like that idea today anymore because it's almost like slavery. Nobody should be rolling with a cart at the tune of a bell. But I guess that's the way it was back in the early 70s. It was acceptable in society here, I guess, to have a maid to do such things. I never liked that idea. These are original two lamps that were here. They're still here, amazingly enough. These are probably from 1958 or so. And as you can see, it needs a lot of work. That's humidity eating up the wall. And just a lot of memories. This bed, instead of tiles, it was covered with flowers. And this gigantic glass, hey, it brings light to the what used to be the formal dining area. That's the stairs. And this sliding, beautiful wooden door, which is no longer so beautiful, as you can see. And it's varnished, and it's sanded, and it's oiled. Imagine this house in its glory days. This is a solid granite floor, and there used to be a small couch there, and with chairs for my grandma to do some knitting, so to speak. Now it's just a couch and some cool paintings from my aunt. And that leads to the entrance, which is, if you remember the green door, it's right there. And these floating stairs are a remarkable piece of architect. It's one solid piece of granite. I think if you were to take these stairs and take it anywhere, it would be worth a fortune. It leads to the upstairs. This floor again used to be like a mirror, shining black. And that used to be right there, the living area. Now it's my aunt's computer room. A chandelier hang there. It was gigantic. A crystal chandelier in all this area used to illuminate like a disco ball kind of. And down here, where now my aunt has a living room, it used to be a gigantic dining room that held probably, I think, 12 or 16 chairs. And that's an open garden inside. And that huge wall, I think, is amazing. A rock wall. And there's the floating stairs. It's just there. It's just almost floating. Nothing holds it. And that used to be the studio. And that's my aunt. And that used to be the music room upstairs. That leads to the bedrooms, and we'll make our way up. That's a face. And now from black granite turns into white granite. And this was the TV room, a den, and in that enclosed cabinetry there was a TV right there and books. And this glass door leads to the back where we were filming, the gutters and the lemon tree and all that kind of good stuff. That's where we were, with the fire pit and vines. And that leads to all the bedrooms. And this was a music room. There were drums here, guitars, and amazingly enough an accordion. And it has a bed of flowers here that now is just gravel. But it had beautiful flowers that would dangle